don't know how to start. Ah, okay. Boop, boop. Hi everyone. Today I wanted to talk about care for an Alocasia black velvet. So I got this guy about 2 weeks ago from an online store in Sydney called Appointment. He's just got these really beautiful, I'm not sure you can see, really beautiful velvety leaves. Look at, that's his youngest leaf, so you can see it's still a little bit more brighter than the rest, and I'll show you an older leaf. You can see it's a lot more darker, and this is, it's his third leaf. Can you always see the texture on that? Look at the veins on this guy. Boop, 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 boop. So what I wanted to do was, because I've been seeing these guys over Instagram as quite popular these days, I just thought I'd do a quick sort of care, or how I've been taking care of my Alocasia black velvet. I always like to do a little bit of research about their natural habitat, because I find if we can mimic those conditions in our homes, the more happy the plants tend to be. So these guys are native to Southeast Asia. They normally would live at the ground, on the ground of the level, they would normally live on the ground level of a jungle floor. They get about, in nature, they probably get about 18 inches wide in length, but only about 12 inches tall. So they're quite a stout looking plant. If you think about rainforest type of climate, they like areas of quite high humidity. They like a bit of shade, and also well drained, quite well drained soil. So what he has, maybe I should start again. All right, let's just kind of continue. Okay, they would be floor dwellers. So what that, if we think about that, what they'll mean is they wouldn't get a lot of sunlight, they get a lot of shade, and also they would like environments that have quite high humidity. Living in the jungle, you can also imagine the type of soil that these guys would live in. So quite well drained organic soil, because in a jungle environment, the soil, you can imagine it will be quite airy. It's made up of a lot of decomposing leaf material and organic matter. So how that translates to living at home or your potting mix is finding a good, well draining soil for these guys would help it thrive in a potted environment. Speaking of pots, these guys tend to like to be a bit more root bound, so I've still got him in the pot that he came in. He's grown a lot more, so this leaf, his baby leaf when I first got him, is now his biggest leaf, but I've kept him in the same pot he came in, and I don't think I'd be repotting him until he does get a lot, I think, a lot bigger than the pot. These guys are also sensitive to the cold, so at the moment, because it's summer, there's no issues with him, but I think in the winter I need to move him indoors. Currently he's living in the greenhouse outside, but I think during winter I'm going to move him in. In terms of watering, I tend to do is I like to look at and do a bit of research about the plant itself. So if we can focus here, camera, I think, focus. All right, so if we focus here, you see his stems are quite, I can't pronounce this word, but tuberous, very tubey, or quite fleshy. So this is what is known as having quite succulent characteristics, which means they hold quite a lot of water. And so when it comes to a watering regime, over-watering wouldn't do well for this plant, because it can already hold a lot of water and moisture in its structure already. So in terms of watering this guy, I wait until the soil is dry before I water in, and always water until you can see water coming out, so it's well drained. The reason why it gets its name is obviously we've mentioned it before, how it has these quite velvety textured type of leaves. And the reason why it's black is because if we imagine it living naturally in the jungle, it's a floor dweller, so it actually doesn't get a lot of light. But all these other plants living above it, all competing for that little bit of sunlight that gets through through the canopy. By having black leaves, it will attract a lot more light, so which I thought was pretty cool. Some other characteristics for this plant, which might help it to grow, is these guys don't like to be overly fertilized. So normally in summer times, generally I've seen recommendations to fertilize once every 4 weeks, and always use half the recommended fertilizing solution that you do for a normal plant. These guys are also a bit of a slow grower, but I would say that in the 2 weeks I've got this guy, he's grown quite substantially. This leaf used to be probably a little bit bigger than this guy, but look at him now. He's so big. I think that's pretty much it. My tips for taking care of your black velvet. If you have one, I'm very excited for you because it's such a beautiful looking plant. He's currently one of my favorites, even though I don't like to play favorites with my plants. But I hope you found that helpful. If you have any questions, then let me know. I'm more active on my Instagram, which is Jessie Pot Plants. I can leave it in the description. But yeah, I hope you found it helpful, and I hope you enjoy your new baby. Bye. Boop. Like well drained. Okay. Oh, what am I doing? Maybe start from the beginning.